Hey everybody, this is Harvey Sluggo Wasserman back for the what is it 242 Green Grassroots Emergency Election Protection Coalition Zoom call. We're going to have a quick 1 hour meeting today as opposed to our usual 2:20 because it is a holiday and we would have been off. It is Indigenous Peoples Day, and TATANKA BRICCA is going to give us a quick invocation at some point in the proceedings, but it is a holiday. But on the other hand, we will not meet again before the all important upcoming No King's Day March, which will be this coming Saturday. Steve Caruso, our wonderful engineer, there you go. No thrones, no crowns, no kings. October 18th, that's Saturday. I will be here in Teaneck, New Jersey, where on the last No King's Day, we had a rally that went for 4 hours with about 300 people. It was very impressive, actually. So this coming Saturday, I will not repeat the absurd characterizations that we've been hearing about this massive nonviolent gathering. I believe that the last one convened about 5 million people and there was zero violence. There was a horrible killing in Minnesota, but that had nothing to do with the marches. But to have 5 million people convene nationwide, actually worldwide, with no violence whatsoever, is a very impressive feat. And we are hoping to duplicate something. I am not an organizer, but I am a fan and I will be a participant. So I want to remind everybody, write it down, send the link to whoever you link with, that this event will be happening on the 18th of October, this coming Saturday, No King's Day. I notice it doesn't say No Queen's Day. Thinking back on Margaret Thatcher, that might have been appropriate, but here we are. I guess if it said no Queens, we'd all be thinking of Freddie Mercury. But at any rate, let's have Mimi, if you want to give us a poem, then we're going to get a quick report on everything's going to be quick today, but when we got a ton, from Mayor Heidi, and then I want to bring Andrea Miller to update us because Andrea is always right on the pulse of what's happening
Harvey,
in this country.
before we
Yeah,
go to Mimi, can I just quickly say that people can find the march near them or the demonstration near them by going to nokings.org on the internet, and the link is in the chat.
beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Mila, and let's take it all seriously. I will definitely be out there in Teaneck on Saturday, and I hope you'll all be at your local gathering places for another non-violent gathering. Truly astounding. Okay, Mimi, do you want to give us a quick poem? And then we'll get the quick report from Mayor Heidi, and then maybe we'll do the invocation real quickly with Tatanka, and then we'll go to Andrea Miller and let her tell us what we need to hear. Mimi, please.
Okay, this morning, on the morning of the release of hostages back to Gaza and also back to Israel. It's called Coming Home for All Prisoners of War. Today, they come home. Tomorrow, seeds will be planted in the names of the living and the dead. A forest will grow. Joy comes with sorrow and peace on the precipice of a new dawn.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mimi.
Happy
Thank you, Mimi.
Indigenous Day to all.
Yes, and we'll get a quick invocation from Tatanka after we hear the report from Mayor Heidi, who probably has to run. So, Mayor, you want to tell us what the latest is in the battle for American democracy on the coast of Oregon?
Well, from my understanding today, there was 6 packets with over 250 signatures each
Oh my God.
for every city councilor on my council, recalling them not only for me, there's a long list of reasons why they're being recalled, But one of them is because of them ousting me and not admitting what they did was wrong. So this is history for the state of Oregon.
Well, Mazel Tov. Congratulations. Now, if I do my math right, 6 packets with 250 signatures is 1,500 signatures. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
How many people actually live in Waldport?
2,000.
Oh, come on.
No,
Really?
I'm serious. I'm
You got
serious.
you got 1,500 signatures out of
Yeah.
2,000 people?
Yeah. Well, people could sign 6 petitions 6 times, one petition 6 times.
Oh, I see. I see. I see. Okay.
So I think that that was probably how they did it. But then, of course, if now the signatures will be certified, and once they're certified, then they'll go on a ballot. And so then my city, my little town, will get to revote whether or not they want these folks to stay or not. And apparently they don't, because, well, all the reasons we all know why.
Well, I hope you have good candidates ready in the wings to take their place.
Yeah,
And
it's
they're
really
all
exciting.
ready to put solar panels on every rooftop and a
Yeah.
couple of windmills offshore so that Waldport will become 100% renewable.
Right. I agree. I agree 100%. It is exciting to get young people an opportunity to get a seat that they haven't been able to get because the same people have kept them for so long. So
Fantastic. Well, maybe you should take Abby Hoffman's slogan, nobody over 30. But we'll see. We'll see about that.
everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome at our table.
All right, very good. Thank you so
Thank,
much, Mayor. Congratulations. Keep us posted.
I will. I will.
And I will attempt to vote early and vote often.
Thank you.
Well, I'll be able to vote 6 times, right?
Sign 6 times.
Okay. All right, very, very good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, TATANKA BRICCA, do you want to give us a quick acknowledgement for Indigenous Peoples Day, and then we'll go to Andrea Miller. You're muted. We can't hear you.
Creator, we are so grateful that there's no separation in all the universe, and we honor the four worlds and the four directions. We honor not just the sacred humans, but the sacred minerals, the sacred plants, the sacred animals, and also the sacred beings from all parts of the universe. There's no such thing as an alien in the universe. I want to honor, in my brief time here, Deb Holland, who is a proud member of the Laguna Pueblo and 35th generation New Mexican, who is running to make history as the first Native American woman governor to represent all New Mexicans and give voice to those that don't have one. So as we all show up where we do in our communities, let's remember that this colonial experiment, as it comes down, we have a chance to rebuild it, and that because there's no separation in the universe, when we get out of our own way and help other people to get out of our way and their way, we really experience the truth that solidarity is baked in our very DNA. We're grateful to be here, and we're grateful for this California experiment of Harvey Wasserman's, the Grassroots Election Protection Coalition, Greengrass. Thank you all.
Thank you. And I'm glad you said Wasserman and not Weinstein. So we appreciate that.
Sluggo Wasserman.
There you go. Sluggo. Let's keep
Yeah.
it clear here. Okay. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate that. Tatanka, and we appreciate you. Someone else we greatly appreciate is Andrea Miller. Andrea, you still with us there?
I most certainly am.
All right. So the newly married Andrea Miller, we want to hear what you're up to, the latest from Virginia and around the country. That's quite a Republican candidate you got there. Whoa, maybe.
Yeah,
Who would get her?
Well, yeah, win some, lose some.
Yeah.
Sears.
There you go. We got 73 people with us. We're waiting to hear your every word, Andrea. So go for it.
Well, first, I just dropped a link in the chat about making and writing a comment to the Elections Assistant Commission. I am sure that everybody on this call is aware of this AVAC, that it passed the House. However, it is somewhat stalled in the Senate. The SAVE Act would require that you present proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. Now, why is that a problem? Well, proof of citizenship requires either a birth certificate that will work for all guys because you don't normally change your name. So most men are theoretically good with a birth certificate. Now, there's going to be challenges, but for women who are married, and I did not change my name because I just went through getting a passport. And it's like, I'm not doing that again. For women who are married, you must provide a bridge document between I was born with this last name, but now I am using this last name. And that is going to require that you get your marriage license, which is not acceptable as proof of citizenship. You will need to convert it to a passport. Now, a number of people have gone out and gotten real ID. I was one of those people. Real ID allows you to get on a domestic flight. It is not a document in 45 states that proves you are a U.S. citizen. So you would still need, if you're a woman who changed your name, a passport. Now, why is that a problem? That is a problem for people who live in rural America because many older people born in rural America were not born in hospitals. Many Black people born even in urban America up until the 60s were not born in hospitals. And if you never left the small town where you were, you may not have really felt the urge to have a birth certificate. Everybody knew everybody in the town. They knew when you were born. And when my mother approached my grandmother about getting a birth certificate, my grandmother pulled herself up to her full 6-foot height and said, I am here. Obviously, I was born. And that basically ended that conversation. But if you must prove that you are a U.S. citizen to qualify for the federal voter registration form, this is a backdoor to then forcing the states to comply with the federal standard. So what they have done is they've gone to the Election Assistance Commission, whose sole function is to make it easier for Americans to vote. And they are using them to implement a rule that would make it more difficult for people to register. And as we all know, unregistered people can't vote. The double danger on this is that should the Elections Assistance Commission manage to do this and then states require the same thing, many states could then demand that everyone re-register, disenfranchising women, minorities, poor people who cannot afford to spend $50 getting a certified copy of their birth certificate, and or women who can't afford the $30 to $160 to get a passport card. Now, the other thing is, when you get into rural America, there becomes, where do I get a passport? Because not all post offices can issue passports, only certain ones. And when I went to get the passport forms for my husband, I was informed that the new forms have not been distributed to any of the post offices. So you must use the official form, which for many people, they're going to have to get online. So,
Well, also, isn't there a problem getting a passport when the government is shut?
well, yeah, there is that.
So if
So
you're
yes, it was problematic before the government shut down. Now that the government has shut down, there will, of course, be a huge backlog.
now there was a MAGA guy, and I don't remember who it was, who has seriously argued that the 19th Amendment, which enfranchised women, should be repealed, and that women actually should not be allowed to vote. And this is a backdoor way of doing it, right, Andrea?
Yes,
And
yes.
of course, the one a subgroup, identifiable subgroup in American society that is most strongly opposed to Donald Trump is women, which is what, 54% of the population. Is that right?
That is correct. And there are really only two states where women do not outnumber men in terms of registered voters. So,
What
yes.
states are those?
Wyoming is one, and I forget what the other one is. It might be South Dakota, Montana. It's one of those western states.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
ironically, all right, who knows this real quick? The first state in the United States to allow women to vote was actually New Jersey, and that women from the Revolution, women were allowed to vote in New Jersey until 1808, and then for some reason, New Jersey repealed it. The next state to allow women to vote, hold your breath, was Wyoming. And the reason was that they were short of women. And
Exactly. It
they
was
really
an
wanted, hey, come
incentive.
on out here, you can vote.
Yes, yes.
You know,
But when Wyoming officially became a state, they had to repeal that.
oh, well, they didn't have to, but they did. Thank you, Mimi. Did you want to say something to Andrea?
I did, and I wonder at times like this, we've known, Andrea, for a while now that Project 2025, part of 2025 project, was about repealing the votes for women. So my question, and it's not directed to you, Andrea, it's directed to men overall, is where are the men and their fury uh, in all of this before their vote gets repealed? Where is everybody?
Well,
Where are the
I will
male
take the
voices?
lead. I more than anybody, I have, or at least as much as anybody, have five daughters, all of whom are voting age, and so our family is number one here at disenfranchisement. But
So
it's outrageous.
I'm saying that one thing that should be on everybody's plate is that we need to be discussing this with men and saying it's time for you guys to stand up for us, instead of the other way around. And of course, equality, all of that. That's not my point, though. My point is that men need to stand up right now, as something that can be done to not just diffuse this horrible situation about women who are about to lose the vote, but to prevent us from losing the vote.
Well, they're obviously not going to come at us and say, here we are repealing the right of women to vote. Well, they're just finding a way to do it, right?
Well, right.
Understand that.
They're
And so does
claiming they are ensuring that only citizens vote. Well, it is already against the law for non-citizens to vote. The very first thing that you must attest to on every voter registration form is, are you a citizen of the United States of America? Yes or no. If you say no, well, all right, so much for that.
and if you say yes and you're not, it's a felony.
Yes,
5 years, I believe. So, you
in
know,
all states.
what else do we need to do here? I mean, maybe they'll subject people who look like women to a DNA test. I don't know. Also looking for the Denim Revolution. Is she on with us? And also Anna from Ukraine. We have 86 people here, so it's tough to go through the menu and find everybody. So Anna from Ukraine, if you're with us.
Anna was in and she dropped, and Jenny is not here.
Okay. All right, we'll rock and roll here. Go ahead, Tatanka, Mike Hirsch,
Yeah,
Ryan Duncan.
Harvey, thank you, Mimi, for that. It's such an obvious thing. I'll join you as co-chair, Harvey, and we'll invite every other man on this call to be co-chairs. And let's get the men together and do just what you said, okay? We're all have too much to do, but this one is got to be
Well,
at
it's
the top
outrageous.
of too much to do, okay?
Yes, and it's outrageous and very clearly political. I mean, you know, there's a huge, I don't have to tell anybody on this call, there's a huge electoral divide in this country between men and women. Now, Andrea, real quick, you have two women running for governor of Virginia. How does that play out?
That's going to be interesting. So yes, there are two women running for governor of Virginia. So Virginia will make history because she will elect her first woman governor. So we have on the one side Abigail Spanberger, who is her former, actually my former Democratic member of Congress. And then we have Winsome Earl Sears, who is the current lieutenant governor and is totally MAGA. I'm going to drop the link in the chat from their debate, which was the most ridiculous thing you have ever seen in your life. One of the nicknames that someone gave her after the debate was Winsome Loosome. We thought one of two things is going to happen. Either number one, she's not going to show up, which she normally doesn't do, normally does, or number two, she's going to show up and then just yell, which is exactly what she did. So let me go find that link and I will drop it in the chat. It's kind of, after that debate, a choice between sanity and insanity. Do you want a governor or do you want, there are no words.
Okay, well, we get a lot of that. I don't know if anybody saw Pam Bondi's testimony in front of the Senate committee there. We're getting a lot of good television out of this regime. Mike Hirsch and then Mickey Leader, please, Mike, and then Eddie.
Yeah, I also want to thank Mimi for bringing up that men need to stand up for women. If women could solve sexism, they would have done it. That's up to the people who are perpetrating it, not the people who are the targets. Same thing with racism. It's up to white people to fight racism. It's up to the people with privilege to make sure that everybody has their rights respected. And thanks for everybody. I know everybody on this Zoom believes all of that.
You got it. Okay, thank you, Mickey Leader, and then Hetty.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
Hi, how are you? I hope everybody's well. I'm bringing up again election protection and I sent you, Mike, and a bunch of you that I had emails for, something that came out, and it was an article about how the Trump administration is sabotaging the election. So it described basically everything that I had quickly alluded to last week, and that I'm sure you all know. But how they are, it's boards of elections, different counties in every state, and 50 states in America are the ones who make the rules on how you vote. What are where, how, when, and unfortunately, they're smarter than we are, and they're out there doing lawsuits and conniving and undermining. And there's a whole bunch of states that have requested access to the voter rolls. Excuse me, the federal government, I think it's Doge, to all the voter rolls. And two states have actually given it to the Doge people, and they're basically going to infiltrate all of our different voter rolls if they can get their hands on it. And why? Because they want to go in and find all the information of where these people are, where they live, etc., for multiple reasons, including knocking them off the rolls of elections. Additionally, it's about the electronic voting machines. It's also about, Trump, very surprisingly, came out against using the electronic scanning machines. He also wants everybody to use paper ballots. And he also came out and said he's against mail-in votes, which I think, if it wasn't here, it was on PDA on Sundays, was mentioned that, you discriminate against people with any kind of disability who cannot go and vote in person. For instance, I'm in a wheelchair. Oh, well, yeah, you could if I could get somebody to take me, if the voting place didn't have any stairs, if I had somebody to push me, if it was handicapped accessible, like 99% of the places you would have to go are not. So it makes no sense, but these are all the things that are being dealt with individually in counties and states. And we really have to serve almost as um, the main avenue of getting this information out to everyone if we can. And we're so few of us, but we're across the whole country. It's, we spend a lot of time trying to elect people that are reflective of our rights and our interests and non-discrimination. But hell, you can kill yourself giving them money, getting the money, making the phone calls, pounding the pavements. And if they are screwing up our boards of elections,
Right. We want everybody to consider, please, going on a board of election. Very good point, Mickey. The boards of election are critical, and the Supreme Court is considering, and I predict the vote will be 5-4 or 6-3. Another uh, killing of the Voter Rights Act with a more gerrymandering nonsense. This is we're really down to push versus shove here. Nobody knows it better than Andrea Miller. Thank you for that, Mickey. HEDY TRIPP, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Andrea. And you might have mentioned it. What about naturalization papers? I have a naturalization document, but if you read
You
it,
can use that. You
But-
can use that.
but you can't make a copy of it. It's illegal.
Right.
So I would have to bring the original to the
You would need to bring the original to the registrar to register to vote. Yes. Yes. Mhm.
Thanks.
Well,
Just like I had to bring my original documents to the DMV to be able to get my real ID. Now, once I had the real ID, that made it substantially easier to get the passport. But since they require the same information, why can't I just use the damn real ID? Because they say you can't, and it's easier to get.
unbelievable. Yes, we're a year away now and from the all-important 26th election, and this stuff we're going to be going over and over again. Thankfully, we have Andrea and Hetty and people who are on top of this, but this clearly the number one target for disenfranchisement in 2026 will be women. I mean, people of color, yes, we know all that. Poor people, we know all that, but what was it? 53, 54, 55% of women in this country who are 53 or 54% of the electorate will never vote for Donald Trump. So they know they know the demographics here. And if I hear another guy coming out to repeal the 19th Amendment, God, that is really something else. Okay, Steve, Caruso, our great engineer, you got a mouthful you want to say? Please, let's hear it.
Yeah, election denial works both ways, whether it was stolen or not. The fact is, you need facts to prove it. So we've got facts saying it was stolen in 2024. I'm going to come right out with it. Also, Judge Goodstein's house was set ablaze on October 4th, the day before Special Ops General resigned on October 3rd. 2, 3, we have a twofer, release the Epstein files and impeachtrumpagain.org. Why can't we do it? We got the votes. We got the votes in the House. Mike Johnson, please step down. You were one that signed on to the fake elector scheme in the beginning. You should have never been seated. Why you're there, I don't know. But Nancy Pelosi apparently blinked. Thank you.
Well, the idea of impeaching Trump at this point is a very interesting concept. I don't know where to go with this. Gary Crane, is Gary Crane on? And we also had Jen from Denim Revolution. If she's not with us, that's fine. We have over 90. Well, we got
Gary's not a
90 people.
co-host, so he can't, so he can unmute. Gary's here. Yeah, there he is. Yep, he's a co-host now. Gary's here.
Okay, Gary, we sent out your
Hi.
list. We got about halfway through. Steve Caruso has mentioned the idea of impeachment. Maybe Trump has been impeached twice. He really topped it. The guy is endlessly entertaining if you can control your blood pressure. Today, he questioned the removal of Richard Nixon. He basically said that Richard Nixon should never have been removed, and that what was done to Nixon was wrong. And I can't even begin to characterize what else he said. I would like to see Trump's pharmaceutical records at this point in time. Oh, Jenny Gage has joined us. So very quickly, then we're going to go. Gary Crane, do you want to finish in a couple minutes your outline for nonviolent action? And then Jenny Gage, we can talk quickly about the Denim Revolution. Again, we'll speed it up today because we're only going to do an hour, and we're halfway through. And we do have 94 people with us. Go ahead, Gary Crane, please.
Okay, is it on GREEP? Are you able to put it on?
It's
desktop?
on there. It's there.
Okay,
Go ahead.
because I'm looking
Yes,
at the
go
document.
ahead.
So
Please.
anyway, again, thank you so much, Harvey, for giving me time. And the premise behind this is basically two of them. One is that Erica Chanowitz's work and John Pickney's work, which has basically proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that a fascist government is almost never removed by elections. And they always want elections so they can look legitimate, but they're almost never, because they always manage to figure out how to rig elections. And then the second thing was, hopefully everyone has read the Mother Jones piece by Ari Berman on how they already, the MAGA GOP is already deploying 10 different methods to rig the elections in 2026 and 2028.
If you can put the link to that in the chat, that would be great. Or Steve,
yeah,
Mother Jones by Ari Berman.
Yeah,
that'd be good. Okay.
Right. The link is in the document. It's not on page 1, but it's I think
okay, go for it. Okay.
All right. So try to look that up. By the way, I just wrote Ari today to get his critique of this list.
Okay.
Because it's an organic document. But
well, is the number one tool, if the number one tool for removing a dictator is not elections, what is it? Is it general strike?
Yeah, it's basically a national nonviolent civic uprising with a social strike. That's the sort of phrase that's being used now because Taft-Hartley in 47 made it impossible for a general strike of all the unions together. And but a social strike would be basically an indirect way of enabling that. And that's basically involving everybody who's not in a union to go on strike, as well as people who might want to go on, who are in a union, but not officially blessed by the union. And I'm not a union expert. There are probably some ways of getting around that. We know that 2028, Sean Fain.
Yeah, the UAW guy.
Yeah. But anyway, so the only alternative is this national civic uprising. And for the last...
What constitutes an uprising?
Well, it's basically, I'm not a tactician either, but it would basically be some kind of gigantic coalition with some unifying demand like tax the rich in order to protect the 98%, in order to be able to have Medicare for all, in order to protect the planet, in order to save democracy. And so hopefully that could bring in almost every organization from the center to the left, including libertarians. And they would be basically people that are shutting down the major centers, major cities, major downtowns by blocking traffic, shutting down refineries. The climate justice people would love to do that, like the Houston refinery, Chevron refinery in the Bay Area. It's up to the tacticians to figure that out. Shutting down Congress itself is a possibility.
Well, they've done that. That's been done already.
Right. You need about 12 million people, according to Erica Chenoweth's research. And so the major barrier that I have found is the and this is very endemic among people on the left, that, well, Gary, technically I understand what you're saying, but it's just not feasible to have that number of people willing to risk arrest. And so I decided to really challenge that. And so I provided 11 arguments, which many of which are surprising, which I think do make it feasible to have 12 million people or more willing to risk arrest. Number one, by the way, is that when you get numbers that huge, even over 100,000 in any one single place, there isn't enough. There is nobody getting arrested, or maybe a few people in the who are leaders or in the front row or two, because it's way more than jail capacity. So that's one thing that's people
Well,
don't.
that Trump, of course, now has deputized or whatever the National Guard.
Yeah.
I think they've been reading your stuff, Gary, because they're anticipating, a very large crowd.
Yeah.
I don't know if it involves everybody getting arrested, but these are questions that we're going to have to grapple with. Everybody, if you can, take a look at your list. There are a number of very interesting books out there on nonviolence. There is a book about the people who overthrew Milosevic in Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
And in that
Blueprint
book,
for Revolution, which is a very good book by
what's it called?
Blueprint for Revolution by Popovic, who is now actually teaching at University of Virginia.
I thought he was the coach of the San Antonio Spurs.
And then there's also my friend was one of our advisors, Ivan Morovic, who's head of the ICNC.org, the major nonviolent outfit in DC, and it's called Path of Most Resistance. So if you go to ICNC.org, you can download the PDF of that book.
Okay, so we're going to continue this discussion, but the idea of non-violently and non-electorally winning a change of regime, and I wish people would stop calling this an administration. It's not an administration, it's a regime.
Right.
And we're not talking about authoritarianism, we're talking about dictatorship. I mean, Bernie really needs to get that straight. The word authoritarian is too wimpy as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So, Gary, that's all very valuable. Thank you very much. Mike Hurst, you want to introduce?
Can I just ask everybody to please send me feedback on this? And if you want to have a comment email me. My email is on the first page. Say, give me comment rights, and then you can comment on the Google Doc. But I really, this is just the second or third draft, and I'm sure it can be much improved. I'll have a very flashy PowerPoint, by the way, with lots of visuals that'll be ready in a couple more days.
Gary,
All right,
that's
very good.
super exciting. Thank you
Go
so
ahead,
much
Mike.
for
Now
that
you want to
presentation.
introduce?
Thank you.
Mike, you want to introduce the Denim Revolution?
Absolutely. We've teased this for the past month or so. We haven't really gotten to the actual cloth of the denim. And I'm so happy, Jenny, that you could join us again today, and you can kind of flesh out some of the things that Gary was talking about with specific proposals that you have, where we can all make a difference and fight fascism. And so thanks again so much for being with us. And I'd love to hear you talk about the denim revolution.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for having me back. I've learned so much from just the past few times that I've been on with you guys. I enjoy all of the conversations. And Gary, I want to go back and re-listen, because everything that you were saying was absolutely fabulous too, and is just right in line with what I'm talking about. First of all, I do come from MAGA. I come from Christian nationalist. I've only been out of the the Trump voting base for 2 years. I'm 51 years old. I spent my whole entire life in the alt-right, white supremacist, Christian nationalist. So I know like deeply how committed and passionate they are and how many weapons they have at their disposal. So one of the reasons why I do everything that I do is that I'm generally terrified for the future of our nation because I have kids. I'm the mom to 7 kids and I have a grandbaby. And knowing what I know from inside of this movement, I know that they're in this to win this. And my denim revolution over on my channel on Life Take Two over on YouTube, I started talking about my severance with MAGA and coming over to the Democratic Party in this last election cycle just a few months ago. And I had so many people saying, well, what do we do now? Like now that Donald Trump's in power, do we just ride this out? And I guess that step one of so I began formulating this denim revolution inspired by what happened in Czechoslovakia in 1989, because they didn't have a huge civil war. It wasn't bloodshed. The people were able to unseat a regime that had been there for 40 years, if I'm correct, the communist regime, through a very targeted social uprising, similar to what Gary was talking about. And it was such an inspiration that I stayed up late for weeks, just kind of penciling out this Velvet Revolution, and decided that it needed an all-American name. So Denim Revolution was named for my dad. He used to buy his Levi's jeans at a little Bi-Mart in Portland, Oregon. I think he paid like $20 for them at the most. My dad was a janitor. That's what he wore in America. We are very much working class people for the most part. And I do believe that there is a way that we can unseat the group that is currently, the regime, as you call them, those who have power of America. It's not going to be easy. And the number one step is we have to do something. As I dialogue with people on my platform and in real life, as I'm talking to senators and authors and just everyday people, what I hear a lot is we're just kind of waiting for things to change. Next time around, somebody else is going to get voted in and this is going to pass by and everything's going to be fine. I don't believe that, because I was once part of this, and I know that they've worked really hard to get to where they are now. And whether it's Donald Trump, JD Vance, anybody in there, nobody in there is going to let control of the reins slip out of their hands anytime soon, and especially the Christian nationalists that are supporting this regime. They have control. They're going to keep control. The only way that we stop this is we stand up and decide that we're going to do something. So my denim revolution is very targeted, I guess, doing some things, just simple stuff that needs to be done very strategically and consistently. So step one is rebuilding our communities, and that's literally getting to know the people around you, reestablishing those connections. You should know your kids' school teachers. You should know who every single one of your senators and House representatives, your local mayor, get out and help other people around you. To do this, I started a small homeless nonprofit. I help just 2 individuals at a time. It's a micro nonprofit. I'm not able to help a huge amount of people, but I'm reconnecting and rebuilding my community in very targeted ways. It's my primary focus. And that's something that we all have to do. Right now, especially with the government shutdown, I hear of so many people in our circle who work for like national parks and different things who are unemployed. Rather than waiting for the Trump regime to come in and save the day, this is a great time for us to band together. And I literally have asked friends, do you need help with some groceries this month? Can you come over for dinner? Bought somebody a gas card. I have a couple of single moms that I help provide meal services for. One of the reasons why the Trump administration was able to come in and do what they did is that we have tribal decay. Our close connections are completely shriveling up. The second step, what Gary was talking about, rejecting the monarchy of wealth, this is very intentional, strategic boycotts across the board. Like what happened with Disney and Jimmy Kimmel, what's been happening with Nike. We have the power to starve them out. We don't have to go to war. We're voting with our pocketbooks every single day. And I know for me, I've cleaned house with all of my expenditures. I'm buying 99% of my clothing from thrift stores that are local and family owned. If all of us take actions like that, if we're making sure that our money is going to farmers and any of, the small business, the backbone of America, that makes a huge difference. We have 360 million Americans. If we strategically spend as a group in ways to unseat those in power, it works. It worked in the Velvet Revolution, and it can be effective for us. Number 3. Mhm.
Keep going. Yeah.
My number 3 step of the denim revolution is honoring the workers. And this, of course, is multifaceted. Those teachers, auto mechanics, mail carriers, nurses, moms, dads, coaches, clerks, they are the backbone of America. And this is where we start demanding, even from this regime, universal health care, demanding affordable housing, paid maternity, livable wage, retirement, honoring the working workers by taxing churches, and then as a community together, supporting all of the workers around us and taking our money away from the wealthy. Again, this is the voting with our pocketbooks. We do need some campaign reform and things that, it's going to be really difficult to get some of these in with the current regime. Expanding the House of Representatives, ending gerrymandering has to happen. At some point, we're going to have to take some of these really strategic measures. And raising your voice actually does matter right now. If you are not currently reaching out to your senators, if you are not speaking up in town halls and doing everything you can for your voice to be heard, and I'll tell you what, if like all of the people that I hear from on my platforms, I have 500,000 followers across my 2 platforms who are telling me how scared they are for the future, how uncertain they are in these times. Any one of us who doesn't show up at the polls, this is on you. This is not a time that we can sit back and be like, oh, well, I had a hair appointment tonight, so I decided not to go vote in the special election. This is the time for us to be politically active in ways that we never have before.
And I want to include that, Jenny, please, on the upcoming march on Saturday, the No Kings Day.
No Kings is a big deal.
All of your 500,000 people show up for that as well.
There are a lot of special elections going on right now. So I've been working with the senator. I'm helping volunteer on his campaign. His name is Chris Volpe. He's in Ohio, and he's actually running in the seat that was vacated by J.D. Vance. Now, back in the old day, I didn't think that a senator from Ohio had anything to do with me. I live in Arizona, but every senator going to Washington right now represents all of us. So that's my special homework assignment for all of my followers. My audience, I'm telling them, get to know who all of these special elections are, even if they're not in your state. You can still volunteer on their campaigns. You can donate $10, $20. I have a couple of interviews that I just did with Chris Volpe because his seat is fairly crucial to get a Democrat in office. We should be looking at all of these special elections that are going on and showing up at the polls and doing everything that we can to support everyone across the country.
We are technically nonpartisan, so if there are Republican candidates to support, people should also. By the way, there's been a list circulating of 6 major U.S. Senate races that people are really focused on. They never seem to mention, Andrea, you'll be, of course, aware of this, is the seat in Iowa now is vacated by Joni Ernst. So there's no incumbent in the U.S. Senate race in Iowa, which should also be up for grabs. Jenny, it's really great. By the way, you'll be glad to know I am wearing blue jeans. That's about the only thing I ever wear.
See, it's the fabric of America.
In Maine, unfortunately, the Democrats just elected a geriatric, are nominating, or not yet, but a geriatric governor to run for the seat in Maine. But Jenny, without being partisan at all, what percentage and how strongly is your organization focused on women and the right of women to vote?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, feminism first is everything that I do. So we do everything that we can to support women. Of course, I work with a nonprofit that helps house survivors of domestic violence, and those women's voices are extremely important. It terrifies me to hear conversations around a head of household vote and things like that. And I don't know how serious it is, but again, this isn't the time for us to sit back and just pretend like it's not serious, because just in case it is, and there are people who are going to try to put that into play, this is a time for us to stand up. Imagine if we could rewind the clock back to like 1920s Europe, and we could say, hey, we see what's coming down the pipe and we're going to fight to resist this. Imagine if like World War II and all of that had just never happened because we had been able to prevent it. Right now, this is time for strategic and intensive preventative care socially and politically for everybody, Democrats, Republicans, everything in between. We need to be
Jenny, I
really
think
proactive.
it'd be great if you're in touch with Andrea Miller. She really knows the ropes on this stuff. And I also hope that you'll use your group, and I'm happy to inform you on this, on pushing renewable energy. Because
So important.
I got to say, we're almost out of time. This was an abbreviated session. There were two articles that were published almost simultaneously in the last couple of days. One was in the New York Times, and it was about a 16 gigawatt, that's 16, equivalent of 16 nuclear power plants, solar array being installed by the Chinese in Tibet. It's an amazing, amazing story. They're going to get 16 gigawatts, which is enormous, in Tibet with solar. Totally at least 40% cheaper than any other form of electricity. Simultaneously, Donald Trump, there you go, is canceling or attempting to cancel. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Really, there's a resistance to this. But Donald Trump wants to cancel 6 gigawatts, 6 nuclear power plant equivalents in Nevada. So the Chinese are adding 16 gigawatts of solar, and Trump is killing 6 gigawatts of solar in Nevada. If anybody wants to know how the American economy is being destroyed, that's the epitome. A 22 gigawatt turnaround on renewable energy. You can't get a bigger dagger through the heart of the American economy than that. And it's going to have to be stopped. I'm not convinced all these things that Trump thinks he's going to cancel, these solar farms and wind. I think what he's going to do is they're going to be pushed back into the future, and they will come when he's gone, twice as effectively as now. But nonetheless, this is a major catastrophe. Jenny, I hope your 500,000 readers, I will supply you with all the copy you ever want because as far as I'm concerned, by the way, renewable energy is also a women's issue. Because when you do renewable energy, you take the bounty of Mother Earth and peacefully convert it. When you do King Kong, coal, oil, nukes, and gas, you're basically raping the planet.
Yep.
So it is actually, in my world, a male-female dichotomy. We're with 92 people, but we're almost out of time. Let me give each a minute. Gary, please. Then Mickey. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, just curious if you've been talking with Rich Logis. Rich is kind of a friend of mine. He wrote the book Leaving MAGA, and he's head of a big organization now that's giving a lot of tips to people on the left about how important it is to be accepting when you meet somebody that's leaving MAGA. Because one thing that MAGA provides for their members is a real sense of community, and one thing that keeps them from leaving is they're afraid they're going to not have community anymore. So if we on the left can assure them that we're going to be very accepting and really provide community, that will really increase their numbers. But have you been working with Rich on this?
Rich is actually texting me right now. So
okay.
yes.
There you go.
Yes.
He's got some.
We also have had
I'll be talking to him soon. So
say hi to him.
We've also had
hi to him for me.
Andrea. Oh, Gary wants you to say hi to him. Well, we've had Andrea Watkins on the phone. So I think what we'll do is either next week or the week after, we'll have like a growing conclave of ex-MAGA people and make it a thing, a part of our repertoire. Jenny, you've really added a big part of this. And if we can produce more on how to leave MAGA, that would be great.
Hey, Sluggo, we could call it the Exodus Project.
I love that. I love that. I've been trying to think of like names for some of
Exodus.
this stuff.
Well, we'll get Bob Marley to talk about it because he wrote the song. Absolutely. We're down to, if you want to slide in here, we got 5 minutes left. Thank you for that, Mickey. You want a minute here, Mickey Leader?
Gotta mute.
Anybody else want to jump in? This has been
Yeah, I had
spectacular.
Can you hear me?
Not to cast aspersions on the denim revolution, but they were originally made from hemp. Okay, thanks.
Oh yeah. I wanted to tell you very quickly, Jenny, the origin of blue jeans. There was a guy named Levi Strauss,
Yes.
and he was in the gold fields, and
Yes.
he was selling tents made of the early equivalent of denim. And some guy, this may be apocryphal, but I've heard it many times. Some guy who's a gold digger comes in and says, "I don't need a tent, but I need a pair of pants." And so he took the denim and made him a pair of pants, and he patented. He did the metal
The
connector,
grommets.
the
Yeah.
grommet, and that was his patent. And that's how Levi Strauss made his millions in the gold fields on denim blue jeans. I don't know if they were blue at the time, but
I think they were. I think they started off with that indigo dye because the indigo, it ages so beautifully.
Right.
So,
But
isn't that such a classically American story?
Yeah, he wasn't there to sell pants. He was selling tents. So
In
there you
Sluggo,
go.
in Sluggo, Andrea Miller brought the Levi Strauss Corporation into the computer age. So she's worn many hats in her career, and Andrea's a genius when it comes to data and processing data.
Well,
So
she's also worn many pants, probably.
Mickey, oh, darn it. Mickey was unmuted. And
Go ahead,
asked,
Mickey. Quickly, then.
Can you hear me?
Yes, quickly, Mickey.
Okay, quickly. I just wanted to remind you, I don't know how to post outside stuff. So the things that I send you about how Trump is stealing elections and all that other stuff, which have been added to by the participants today, please post it into the chats or the agenda or whatever else so other people can get it.
Okay.
It's better for
Okay.
you to do it, and it's all the same
Okay.
kind of stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I do want to add my 2 cents worth. I don't think the 2024 election was stolen. I think it was bought and paid for by Elon Musk. And now we have another guy, Ellison, out there in the Trump camp. Between Elon Musk and Ellison of Oracle, they have $1 trillion between the two of them. And since we have a system of $1, one vote, there's no way they can't buy the elections. Okay, 3 minutes left. Miss Ung and then Dave Saltman, and then we're gonna Melissa will be
Ruth
back again
Strauss,
next
too.
week. Go
Yes,
ahead.
Ruth,
I would like to have people know that there's to save the date for November 5th. There's a group called Refuse Fascism. I put the origin and brief history here. They want to have like a big a group, going to the Washington Monument to ask for Trump to step down on November 4th at 11 a.m. at the
Okay.
Washington Monument.
I
Save
think.
the date.
Sorry. Go ahead. Okay.
Everybody should save the date, and we should all network and all together
Okay.
pass the word around.
All right. So remember again, we have this coming Saturday is the second No King's Day. I think they should have renamed it No Queen's Day, but nonetheless, here we are. And so that we got 2 minutes left. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day, everybody. This was a great session. We have over almost 100 people today. Go ahead, Dave Saltman, please.
Hats off to Jenny Gage for picking up on the Velvet Revolution. And you probably don't know this, but one of the chief architects of the Velvet Revolution just died a few days ago, Ivan Klima. He's a real working man's hero. He was a friend of mine, and he was also a professor briefly at the University of Michigan. Go Blue.
Can you put David? Can you put his name in the chat? I saw that too. I know you. We were going to have you on to talk about it. Maybe we'll do it in the next week or the week after. But
his story is great, and it's very inspiring.
Thank you so much. Thank you, David. All right,
David,
Ruth
would you like
Strauss.
to come on my channel and talk about it? If so, reach out to me because I would love to share his story.
I don't know how to find you, but
We'll jointly email you, Jenny.
okay, great.
Jenny and Dave will. It's David Saltman,
Right.
and you have nothing to fear from him. Okay, thank you, Ruth Strauss and Barbara Harris, and then we're going to be gone. David, thank you for that. Much appreciated.
Just a real quickie. I don't know much about Daily Beast at all, but somehow on my phone, I ended up seeing an interview that they did with two psychologists slash psychoanalysts. It's really brilliant analysis of Trump. And so I don't know. I sent myself the link, and I'm technologically challenged as to how to get the link in the
Just
chat.
a minute.
People
Okay.
look it up. People look up Daily Beast psychoanalysis of Trump.
Okay, thank you very much. And we were going to have someone, Anna, on from there, so we'll have her next week, hopefully. Barbara Harrison, you're the last.
Yes, I just wanted to say hi to Andrea Miller. I should have done this sooner. And I put my email address in the chat. I am looking for work in advocacy, organizing, research,
Okay.
editing, coordinating. So,
Okay, Barbara, thank you for that. And this is the work we do. Jenny, you should be put now in touch with Andrea Miller and David Saltman. And listen, everybody, have a great Indigenous Peoples Day. Be sure and find out where your No Kings Day is in the locale, and we'll talk about it next Monday. I'm requiring everybody on this call to go see your No Kings thing, and also in memory of Maggie Thatcher, no Queens either. All right, you guys, no nukes, everybody. We'll see you next week, and thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, for engineering.
Parker, you want to take us out?
Oh, si se puede.
Si se puede.
Yes, we can. Picking up on Jenny beautifully said, yes, we can. All this is possible. Humans created it. Humans can make it better.
I'll be wearing my blue jeans for the rest of the week. See, and to the everybody wear blue jeans to the No Kings thing. That'll be fitting a solidarity act.
And Jenny, I got a story, 68 story with 4 friends of mine that ended up going into Prague when the tanks came in. So we'll talk later.
I want to hear that story. Everyone, link me in an email
David
because I'd love to
Saltman,
hear and share all of your stories.
All right, two final words. Vaclav Havel. See you next week, everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
No nukes.
No nukes.
Peace.